I think we good. I think we're finally good. Dang. I want to make sure that everybody is in, man. I swear, dog. I think we good. Yeah, we gotta be good now. Sorry, y'all. We're going through some technical difficulties on episode two. Honey, man, I want to appreciate y'all for sticking in and tapping in, man. There's some people that still getting the link. So, again, I appreciate y'all patience. But it was quite a few of y'all in the last link, man. So, we're just going to give the people a quick second to tune and tap back in. But I want to thank y'all immediately from the bottom of my heart for supporting the podcast for 200 episodes, and of course we got more, bigger and better to go. But tonight's episode, I could not wait. It's just crazy all the technical difficulties that I had going on tonight so far, but I feel like we cleared them all up. I see y'all in the chat again. Shout out to those who was in that last chat and they still coming in. I've seen some people gifted in that last link that I had previously. So again, shout out to y'all, man. I believe I seen Tremont in there, so shout out to Tremont in the building. King Prince, I see you in the building. Appreciate that 20 gifted, man. I appreciate the gifted. That means the world. Shout out to King Pete, man. And I'm gonna shout everybody else out in a second. I'm just giving more time for people to tap in. But this is episode 200. And let's officially start the show, man. I want to thank y'all, man. Y'all been so dope. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Man, what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I am your host, Ashley Lovechild, and this is episode 200. I want to thank all of y'all for tuning and tapping in. Again, y'all, it means the world to me. It's a celebration. I'm seeing it all in the chat. It's nothing but love. So thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Again, my apologies for the technical difficulties, but certain things is out of my control. All I could do is open another link. The other link prior to, had quite a few people as always, and it showed their gifteds and everything. But again, I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in. Like as promised, this is going to be a great show. As always, for episode 200, we're going to have, I'm going to perform a little something, something, give y'all a little something, something. We're also going to be doing some free giveaways as well for tonight's podcast. So, again, y'all, appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in. Let's start the show, man. I'm so eager for this show, man. Like I said, we ran a little bit behind because of the technical difficulties with YouTube. You know what I'm saying? They don't even show how many people that be in my chat for real. I see the real numbers when the chat is over with. That be, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what's that about? But anyway, again, y'all, thank you, thank you, thank you for tapping in. It's gonna be a great show. Make sure y'all stay engaged. Make sure y'all hit them likes, hit them likes, hit the 100s, hit the 100s. Type in 200 in the chat. Type in 200 because this is episode 200. Yo, which is a major accomplishment. Many podcasts can't say that they got 200 episodes. So I'm actually excited about that. So again, I appreciate the love that I'm seeing in the chat. Quick shout out to Hazel, Big Hazel in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Culture. Shout out to Ebony. Shout out to Winter. Shout out to King P. And again, thank you for the gift that I did see it in the last link before we had to redo it and open up this one. Shout out to Shay in the building. Appreciate that. I'm seeing nothing but the big 200 in the chat. I appreciate that immensely. Shout out to my bro Biggs in the building. Congratulations, fam. Big 200. I'm telling you, the 200 episode, man. It feels good, man. I'm not gonna hold you, man. But this is a testament not just to the show, but to y'all, man. To y'all. for all the day ones, for people that do catch it every here and there, for y'all that do catch the clips. I got over 500 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel. For y'all that like, subscribe, and share. For some of y'all, not just only subscribers, but also members. And different members do get chances to take advantage of the membership portion of the page. So for those who haven't, make sure you do. But it's a big accomplishment for us as a team, for people that's watching, and for us that's doing the show. So thank you. Shout out to, again, my bro Biggs. Shout out to So High in the building. Shout out to Silent Sniper in the building. Bro looks younger than Stephen A. Smith. I mean, Stephen A. Smith is old enough to be my pops. Like, what are you talking about, bro? And I hope one day that I become older than Stephen A. Smith, because the whole purpose of the game is to get older. If you want to live a good life, quality of life, the whole purpose is to get older. It just kills me. Only in our culture, we'd be like, yo, this dude just had a birthday. Like, ain't that crazy? Like, what is he doing? He's living. Like, so that's the whole purpose. You feel me? So at the end of the day, if that's what it is, that's what it will be. But shout out to you, man. 200 Brother Wiz, your co-host, the dark-skinned bro with the glasses. Again, it's me, brother. I'm here, and that's what matters the most. But shout out to my bro Santana. But I'm here, okay? Shout out to 012. Appreciate you tapping in. The ops done put a switch on. Yeah, I'm not gonna say the rest of that, my brother. I'm not gonna say the rest of that. When you say ops, I'm hoping you talking about something positive. You know what I'm saying? We don't do none of the negativity over here. You know what I'm saying? When we say ops, I hope that we talking about something that we're building something. We got too much division in our culture as is, man. I don't celebrate deaf culture. I don't even do that in my music. I celebrate life culture. That's the biggest theme in my music, is about life, living life. Not to say that effed up stuff don't happen. That's not what I'm saying. It's about laying in it and then perpetuating it. And then it's crazy, some people perpetuate it and they too damn old. They be like damn near 50 some years old talking about guns and butter and drugs and violence and all this, that, and the third. That just let me know when you was young enough and was supposed to be outside, that at that age you wasn't, and now you're waiting later to become a tough guy. We don't do that. We don't celebrate that. So I hope that's what you're talking about, my dude. That's the type of ops that I'm trying to get with. I'm trying to get with the ops that, yo, bro, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I see you got something going on. I gotta play. I got this going on. Yo, let's link up and let's get a bigger bag. That's the only ops I'm interested in, my brother. You know what I'm saying? We gotta flip that narrative for real. Shout out to Christopher Rivera in the building. I already know who that is. Shout out to Maria. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Andrew for tapping in again. This is the big episode 200. 200th episode. Again, not a lot of podcasts can say that. So again, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. It's going to be a great show tonight. We got many things to talk about. If this is your first time watching, we talk about everything from music, sports, entertainment, social commentary, just general questions we have on our mind, research that we've done, and we bring it to the forefront of the congregation. So again, this is that type of pod. We talk about everything. We have fun, we be positive, and we're also critical, okay? Just because we're critical doesn't mean I'm opposition. I'm calling something to action, so hopefully we could be better at something. And some people I am calling out because they just be on that bull. But again, I'm not an op. I mean, I don't promote violence and anything of that nature. But I'm nothing to play with myself. Shout out to Powder Deep in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, y'all. Hit them likes, hit the 100s while you're here. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Show love, show that love. This is episode 200. Show that love. It will be nice if I get about 200 likes. 200 episodes, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, y'all. Without further ado, let's get the show started, man. Again, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, I want to thank, well, we'll get to that in a second. Special announcement. I want to thank y'all that's been supporting my new EP, Winners Loyalty, up on all music platforms right now. If you haven't typed it in, just type in Ashley Lovechild and the new EP, 6 Songs of Fire, especially for my hip hop fans. Winners Loyalty, for tapping in on that. All right, y'all, let's get the show started, man. Y'all already know, first segment of the night, popular opinions. What do I always say? These are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions, y'all. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. Go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. I had a brain freeze right there. That lets you know how much be going through my brain. Sometimes I be, you ever have to, yeah, that be me sometimes. All right, y'all, first segment of the night. First question. Best movie soundtrack on this list. Best movie soundtrack on this list. Number 1, Above the Rim. Number 2, A Low Down Dirty Shame. Number 1, Above the Rim. Number 2, Boomerang. Number 3, A Low Down Dirty Shame. Number 4, New Jack City. Again, best movie soundtrack on this list. Number 1, Above the Rim. Number 2, Boomerang. Number 3, A Low Down Dirty Shame. Number four, New Jack City. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Shout out to Unk in the building. Do you support? I support anybody that's positive. Do that community support me? So I support anybody that's positive, sir. We all human beings. My proclivities is for women. I have family who live that lifestyle, and they're human beings, and I show them love. So we all human beings. Yeah. Hit them likes, hit the 100s while you're here, Unc. Appreciate you. All right, so I'm seeing Above the Rim so far. Above the Rim is a fire soundtrack. Me personally, New Jack City soundtrack is fire. It's a lethal soundtrack. It still holds up to this day. Boomerang, I'm seeing Boomerang in the chat as well. Boomerang is one of those soundtracks. If you have, a lady over, you trying to set the mood, dog, you just let the music play, okay? That's a Boomerang soundtrack, Above the Rim, it got a little of everything, and it's fire music. But me personally, I'm going to say A Low Down Dirty Shame. A Low Down Dirty Shame, in my opinion, is the absolute best movie soundtrack ever. And I can argue that to anybody. The artist that was on there, the music that was on there, track to track. Yeah, so me personally, I'm going to go with A Low Down Dirty Shame. He Got Game was fire. But it's not on the list. But you could say it's an honorable mention, but it was fire. But again, best movie soundtrack on this list. Number 1, Above the Rim. Number 2, Boomerang. Number 3, A Low Down Dirty Shame. And number 4, New Jack City. Again, I went with A Low Down Dirty Shame. In the chat, I seen Above the Rim, and shout out to Alex in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. You're spamming, so I'm gonna have to put you on timeout because you're spamming. I don't do the bots. So again, if you hear the show Real Love, do so. Okay. Shout out to Ahmed in the building. No, the best movie soundtrack of all time is Saturday Night Fever. Yeah, nah, you gonna miss me with that one, my brother. Good soundtrack. It's good. It go according to the time. It's a good soundtrack. It's a good soundtrack, but it ain't messing with Above the Rim, Boomerang, or Low Down Dirty Shame. I'm just saying, it's a good soundtrack, bro. It's good. I don't even know if that is Saturday Night Live and it's not on the list. I don't even know if that is on the same level for real, as a Rocky soundtrack or the Last Dragon soundtrack. I mean, I know my music, bro. So Saturday Night Fever is cool, but you know, you know. All right. So again, I went with Boomerang. I'm sorry, I went with a Low Down Dirty Shame in the chat. I saw Above the Rim and Boomerang the most in the chat. The rest of the world at 41%, and mind you, over 5,000 people voted on this, went with Above the Rim. Again, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. That was a fire soundtrack. I'm honestly, for real, is the soundtrack is basically produced by Death Row. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Suge Knight produced that soundtrack. And of course, he used Death Row artists. He used East Coast artists, of course. It was particular point in time. He wanted world domination. He wanted Death Row East and a regular Death Row that was on the West. And that music was fire. It still holds up still to this day. But me personally, again, I went with a Low Down Dirty Shame. But the rest of the world went with Above the Rim. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. Out of the 90s, yes, Above the Rim. Okay. Like I said, yeah, for me, y'all need to go back and listen to that Low Down Dirty Shame. I'm not going to steer y'all wrong, baby. I got you. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I'm telling you. But again, the rest of the world went above the rim, so I'm not mad at that. Shout out to Lawrence in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. And this is episode 200, which is monumental. Many other podcasts can't even say they did 200 episodes. I'm so excited. I don't even got my water. That's how excited I am tonight. So again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. And again, type in them 200s in the chat because it is the 200th episode, y'all. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Best outside game to play in the 90s. Best outside game to play in the 90s. Again, let me know what y'all think in the chat. Number one, kick the door and run. That still go hard, not just at night. That go hard in all eras, right? Kick the door and run. When you're a kid, kick the door and run is the best game in the world. But when you're an adult and your door is the one being kicked, oh, you looking to whoop some ass. Who's your parents? Who's your father? I need to speak to your father because y'all not going to keep me up. Or I sound like the old man now, right? I don't care. Don't kick my door and run, damn it. I got a nice door, all right? So, again, best games to play outside in the 90s. Number one, kick the door and run. Number two, tag. Number three, manhunt. Number four, dodgeball. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, best outside game to play in the 90s. Number one, kick the door and run. Number two, tag. Number three, manhunt. Number four, dodgeball. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. All right, for me, like I said, kick the door and run was everything for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a whole lot of manhunt in the chat. Manhunt, I'm not going to hold you. Manhunt used to hit different when all the real athletes is playing. That's when manhunt hit for real. When all the real athletes is playing. Whether it's the girls or the guys on your block, whoever's the real athlete on your block or the real athlete, that's when it's real active because they're going to really hide for real. Then it's not just I see you. You gotta tag them. You know what I'm saying? And You work on your Jerry Rice, your Barry Sanders moves, or your Saquon Barkley moves. So me personally, I had the hell of a time playing kick the door and run, even in college. But I will say manhunt myself. I'm going with the chat. Chat saying manhunt. I'm seeing tag also in the chat as well. Uh, so these are all ways that we kept ourselves, preoccupied back in the '90s as little kids. Shout out to Chin Chin in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Like cold pizza. I'm trying to tell you, it was a hell of a time. It was a hell of a time, and you just had to be there. Honestly, we wasn't like we did play video games, but we was outside though. You feel me? It's such a good time. All right, y'all. Best outside game to play. The chat mainly went with Manhunt. I'm going with Manhunt. The rest of the world at 39%, mind y'all, over 6,000 people voted on this. Went with dodgeball. Dodgeball. I don't know, maybe because I'm from the hood, we didn't play a lot of dodgeball in the hood. Dodgeball is a school type of game. That's the game we played when we had a substitute. The substitute was trying to be cool, gave us another half hour on the outside time or whatever, and we go crazy on the dodgeball. You know what I mean? On the blocks I grew up on, yeah, dodgeball, nah, no way. Football, basketball, we brought out the gloves, we boxed, we climbing trees, kick the door and run, you know what I'm saying? Manhunt, tag, stuff like that. But yeah, I ain't never played a game of dodgeball in my neighborhood on my block. We didn't do. We played kickball. We played it as it was like a baseball game because we ran out of baseballs. Pause. We ran out of those one time, but the very next day we was playing football again. So it's not the same thing as dodgeball in my opinion. Stickball. I see stickball up there. Tetherball. How to go seek. All great games. See, me personally, I used to like play hide and go seek with the girls. I'm just saying. Manhunt and football on knock. That's a fact. Stickball, handball. Y'all was busy. Chaser. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like when you a little kid, you know what I'm saying. You trying to get, you know what I mean. They playing jump rope. Like let's fuse this game together, baby. You feel me? Fuse it. You know what I'm saying? So. But it was a great time, and that's what kids lacking today is that interpersonal peer. Like, if you realize most young adults now, I would say like 19, 20, 22, 23, it's very awkward in the communication skills. Like, when you see each other face to face, the conversation is not, it's not organic. I think because, in my era growing up when I was a kid, because we was, hey, what's up, baby? You know what I mean? As we got older, it's more on 1,000. So we don't have no problems approaching women like, oh, what's up? So that interpersonal, and we need that, you know what I'm saying, in the culture, you know what I mean? So, and now it just seems like it's creepy if a guy speaks to a girl. If I speak to a woman, it ain't creepy at all. You know what my intentions is, but it's not creepy, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think that's missing in that communication. I'm seeing hopscotch, Vic. Shout out to Vic in the building. My guy Vic, one of our day ones in the building. Play hide I'm not gonna finish that, Vic, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget to get inside when the light comes on. See, some of my friends, this may sound bad, some of my friends' parents didn't care about them because they let them stay out till like 12 o'clock at night all the time. And I used to be jealous of that. I'm like, yo, why can't I stay out till 11 o'clock at least? You know what I mean? And my mother was like, because I care about you. I was like, damn, Mom. That was a straight bullet at my friends. Some of my other friends had to be in the crib though. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, don't forget, I was too busy making sure my mom's. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna finish that. But yo, shout out to you. Just, you was a soldier in the game. Feel you on that. I don't want to make light of that, even though you bust a little joke on that. But I feel you on that. You know what I'm saying? Remember staying up till mass. All right, this is gonna make me sound real old, y'all. When I was a little kid, TV used to go off. Yeah. Once I Love Lucy, Honeymooners, and then they followed that up with MASH. It was about that time to go to bed. It was about that time to go to bed. TV, when I was a little kid, TV, like, okay, I'm older than cable. Yeah, I'm older than cable. It's cool though. You see, the whole purpose is to get older, baby. But I'm older than cable. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so. But the reason why I say that is because by the time 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, TV was like, yo, we don't got nothing else for you, man. Go to sleep, man. You shouldn't be up anyway, man. And then probably at 5 in the morning, then it was like infomercials that would come on. But yeah, it was a wrap after a certain time when I was a kid. I'm not gonna hold you. That's how old I am. I'm 41. I got no problem telling my age. I'm 41 years old. And when I was a kid, and the reason why I feel like I'm older than cable, but I'm probably not. When I was a kid, everybody didn't have cable. Cable was a luxury. You had to have that money on to have cable back in the day, like when it first came out. And cable had maybe like they had all the channels, but they had like the real dope movie channels would be HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, and the movie channel, if I'm not mistaken. And you could get some fire movies, but see each station, like they, you know what I'm saying, like late time Showtime, they was risque. You know what I'm saying? They was showing all the movies, the grown up movies. You know what I'm saying, with the soft porn in it. You know what I'm saying? You get you a good drama, and then all of a sudden when the sex scene come up, you seeing some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh yeah, Showtime is popping. But again, everybody didn't have it. Everybody didn't have cable when I was growing up at all. That was a luxury. If you had cable, that means you had access to get in pay-per-view. That means you had money on. You had a steady job where you could get cable. I wouldn't even say steady job. You had enough money to get cable. Cable was a real luxury back in the day when I was a kid. I ain't gonna hold you. Then later on, the community got hip and was like, yo, all you need is the cord, baby. If you get the cord and you plug it up to somebody else that actually got the box, then you basically watching what they watch and you don't gotta pay for none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you just gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Shout out to Minnie in the building. Softcore porn. Yo, I'm trying to. Yeah, he laughing in the chat, right? Don't forget to hit the 100s. Hit them 100s. Hit them hearts in the chat. It's the 200th episode. Hit the 200 in the chat as well. But softcore porn used to hit different back in the day. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? It was a good time. You know what I mean? Just watching it, just from an entertainment value, it was a good time. You know what I'm saying? It's very informative on how we thought that adults interacted with each other. It was like, oh, okay, I can't wait to become an adult. Looks like a good time, you know? Especially the white guys. Like the white guys in the movie could be bummy, they could be artsy, and then when you go to their crib, they got the flyest crib you ever seen in your life. It's some loft somewhere, mad big. He got a bike. He got a bicycle. He got a motorcycle. He got all this fly shit in the crib. You know what I'm saying? He a photographer. You know what I mean? But just bummy and got all the girls. Girls going crazy. Oh, he earthy. Or he like a biker type. You know what I'm saying? Get all the girls in the softcore porn back in the day on the Showtime movies. The 1-900 commercials. The 1-900 commercials used to go crazy. Tasteful. Very tasteful. You know what I'm saying? Very tasteful. BET late night. I'm trying to tell you, the nostalgia is going crazy. And it was a good time. I will say that. It was a good time. Very entertaining. And you know what? From time to time, Tubi gets some of those movies from back in the day, from the Showtime, the Movie Channel, the Cinemax movies from, back then, and they will play them on Tubi, and it's a good time. You know what I'm saying? That's good cinema right there. That's good cinema right there. Can't beat that type of cinema. That's a good time. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Mouse Morris in the building. Appreciate you. Shout out to Bill in the building. Think about being older than color TV and the Super Bowl. Really? See, I feel old because I feel like I'm older than cable. I'm definitely older than CD players because when I was little, CD players just came out. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? But that's the whole purpose, is to live. Like, we can't make fun of people because they had a birthday and they still living. They supposed to. So, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be one point in time that the things that we use today is going to be obsolete, and we're not going to use, and we're going to be saying the same thing 20 years from now. So, damn, 20 years from now, sheesh. Sheesh. But that's why I'm so grateful of being 41 now, because 20 years from now, I'm really gonna feel like wow, I'm really older and mature for real. From beta to VHS. I know I was around for the beta. I just don't remember beta. I'm more VHS baby. I'm more VHS. So I know beta was around when I was a kid. I just don't remember beta. Like, I remember. Again, this is gonna make me sound real old, but I remember going to the video store, and this is how Blockbuster became Blockbuster, y'all. All Blockbuster did was basically become a superstore of movies, because in all of our local neighborhoods, we all had a video store that we could go to, and they had all the movies in the video store for like $1.50. Go in there, get you about 3 or 4 movies for $1.50 a piece. They gonna throw the fifth one on top of that just to show good business. And it was a good time. You know what I'm saying? So I remember them VHSs. Crazy though. I'm older than streaming, but not older than cable. 37. Okay. So you're not too far from me. I'm 41. So you're not too far from me. I remember transition from cassette CD. I'm right there with you, Vic. I'm right there with you, Vic. I'm right there with crazy. Oddly enough, the last VHS that I had, I got as a Christmas gift, where my cousin bought me Puff Daddy featuring Little Kim, or Little Kim featuring Puff Daddy, No Time for Fake Ones. And I was bumping that the whole Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So that was my last cassette tape. You know what I'm saying? Why do I remember my last cassette tape is the funny part. Like, why do I remember that? Like, a whole 20-something years later, like, why do I remember that? Like, that's crazy. That some good times though. Good time. I'm gonna tell you this. There was nothing like, again, around that time, being able to go to the video store, ordering Domino's pizza, because Domino's pizza back then was hitting. Domino's pizza, and you enjoyed your Friday night. It was nothing better than that, because you had the whole weekend to watch your movies. You had 4 or 5 movies, and you went crazy. Good time. Nothing but good times. You know what I'm saying? We didn't want to let go. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I actually like streaming better than CDs, and of course cassette players, because obviously to listen to the cassette, you have to listen to the whole thing. If you're gonna rewind it, it's never exact. You know what I'm saying? CD players was cool, but they used to skip. If you're on the train, and then they came out with the unskippable, but they skipped too. Like, all of them skipped to me. So I like the streaming better, because they don't skip. You can go to the exact part and everything. There's just more flexibility, me personally. 99 cent whoppers. Shout out to Jan J in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Respectfully, you remind me of Nick Cannon. Very attractive. Appreciate that. Thank you. Shout out to DS, Chris. No, my name is Ashley, sir. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It's my 200th episode of this podcast. And again, it helps with the growth of the show. And I thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Our Keep I'm sorry, our Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. I came up with this segment because there's a lot of trash ass movies in Hollywood, and I got better ideas for a movie or a movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us, I would love to see a movie based on reality versus emotions in relationships. And I would call the movie Mad. I would just call it Mad. You ever been in a relationship, man or woman? If you ever been in a relationship and there's a whole lot of discourse, and instead of saying, yo, I love you, it's cool, let's work it out, let's go somewhere and get it popping, let's make up, let's do this, y'all continue to fight, and you realize y'all end up arguing what's emotion versus the reality, right? You ever been in a relationship and you argued over a hypothetical? Like it didn't happen. So why are you arguing over hypothetical, right? And really be mad at the hypothetical. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I had an ex ask me, hey, if we was alone on an island, like, what do you say? I'm like, yo, I'm saving. I don't want to give y'all my answer, but she wasn't happy with my answer. And she made it a whole big argument at the time. So again, I would love to see a movie based on that alone. The miscommunication in relationships based on we wish we wish the other person knew what we was thinking, because what we thinking is positive, is love, is great energy, but in their mind, based on their past, based on that action, they think that you are not loving on them. They think that you don't want them no more. They think that you don't desire them no more. So I would love to see a movie. Again, I want to call it Mad. I would love to see a movie on relationships dealing with emotions versus the reality. And again, all we got to do is open our mouth and communicate. You see what I'm saying? That's why I love the show Martin, because no matter how bad it got between Martin and Gina, they always worked it out. You know what I'm saying? And I never understood back in the day when they would argue and then they would get so hot and bothered. They take, they start taking clothes off and want to get it popping. I didn't understand that till I became an adult. Again, you ever had an argument so heavy, so crazy, so vicious, so mean that you are hornier than you ever been in your life? That happened to me. And in that moment, I realized how funny the Martin show was when Martin and Gina will argue, because you argue so heavy and you so passionate and so long that it'd be like, yo, it's time to make up. Let's get it. Like it's like the rapture. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whirlwind. You know what I'm saying? All this going on. So again, I would love to see a movie based on that premise. Reality versus emotions in relationships. I think it will be a dope movie. Of course, I would make the movie drama, rated R, because that's a scene right there. The argument turned into making up, because makeup sex is probably like the third best sex that you can have. I will say that makeup sex is. I think number one, it ain't nothing like morning sex, when you could just wake up and slide, you know what I'm saying? Just slide. You know what I mean? Just slide. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna go like, we had a good day. You feeling good, she feeling good. Oh yeah, that's Olympian type of style sex right there, Olympian. But third, it's the makeup sex. That's good sex right there. That's good. That's really good sex right there. That's clutch right there. That keeps somebody from walking out the door, because you have to remind them what you coming with, So, that I think this will be a fire movie. The director I would go with is Ernest Dickerson. Ernest Dickerson have done a whole lot of movies. If you look him up and see his catalog, fire movies. So I will go with Ernest Dickerson to direct this movie. So that's my Hollywood Need to Ask Us for this episode. Shout out to Vic, rekindling, relighting the candle. He want that sugar soup cooler. Oh yeah, that's a fact. The soup coolers. I want them soup coolers. Uh, do you like Legos? Shout out to Superman in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, hit them likes, hit the 100s. To Superman, appreciate that, Ashley. You know, luxury ain't no luxury, from luxury shopping to luxury cars ain't the same. Fine dining. Yo, shout out to Terry in the building, man. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Jay. Oh Lord, yes. One love. Putting unity back into the community. You already know. 40s in the live was good, fam. Shout out to General in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Dollar fries. Yo, super super funny, man. What's with the Nas Casino? I'll probably get to that a little later though, with the Nas Casino portion. But don't forget to ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions, y'all. But I do answer them. But I'll probably get to that a little bit later with the Nas Casino. Um, I only thing, honestly, I'll address it right now. The only thing that I know for real about the casino is that Jay-Z proposal didn't go through. Nas proposal did, and I don't even know the name of what it's going to be, but uh, I'm hoping that it's a good thing for the community. Do New York City need a casino? Yes. Yes. It's not enough that people could go out to Atlantic City. Atlantic City, like, no shot to Atlantic City, but eh, I'm cool. I'm cool. I've been to Vegas a whole bunch of times. I go to New Orleans a whole bunch of times. I rather go there than to go to Atlantic City. And I'm from Brooklyn. And I'd rather go to New Orleans and Vegas than to go to Atlantic City. So do New York City need a casino? Yes. But the rollout will matter, and how they put it together is going to matter. It got to be fly. It got to be New York. It got to have that rugged energy, but also fly. It got to be a place where people could come and be fly, enjoy their time, spend their money, be sexy. Like, New Yorkers are some of the most stylish people in the world. You gotta let people come and just shut it down, just from the fashion standpoint. Please, you gotta let people come shut it down. So it really depends on how they dress this thing up, in my opinion. I heard it's going to be a result too. Again, you got people drinking, you got people spending money. Why not have a resort? You going people going it, people gonna be trying to get it popping, bro. So you gotta have some rooms. You feel me? Job creating opportunity. That's a fact. That is a fact. That's more important than anything. But as long as the wages are fair, and as long as these jobs come with advancement, because you could give somebody a job, but is it a dead end job? Is it going to be one of those type of places where it's going to be high turnover because people don't like doing the work that's required? So that also matters too, for this casino to have a great reputation, in my opinion. A shout out to Bishop. You ever get tired of New York City? For real, bro. I did. I love Brooklyn. I love New York City, but I had to move, dog. I had to move. I had to move. Is I spent my 10th year in Florida. I'm in Florida now, and yeah, I won't be moving back. The quality of life is different out here, dog. It's just different. You make less money, but what's the purpose of making more to give it back? What's the purpose? If you make 120,000 a year, and in your bank account at the end of the year you only got 5 racks, then what's the purpose of making 120? But if you live in Florida, if you make 80,000 in Florida, and at the end of the year you got 15 racks in your bank account, math is math. That math is mathing. You know what I'm saying? So that just makes sense to me. No H1 visa workers. I saw the same way. I feel the same way. And I'm in C now. You can't beat the quiet New York City. Always something going on. There's always something going on everywhere. You don't realize that until you move. We just think that New York City is like always 24 hours, which it is. And even in Florida, it does shut down a little bit, but that's just certain areas. If you live in Miami, Orlando, Tampa, that's a different type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But if you're in the inskirts of those areas in Florida, then you will get some quiet time, some peace time. You know, everybody has the old school mentality where people do go to sleep. They going to sleep in Florida. You know what I'm saying? But it's the quality of life. So, but yes, I love New York City. I just can't live there no more. It's more rats in New York City than it is people. I'm tired of like I can't be the only one in like here that growing up in Brooklyn. I don't know. Don't tell me I'm the only one here. Growing up in Brooklyn, if you grew up in New York City, it's still all the same. If you see a large body of garbage, I'm not the only person that didn't walk through that pathway. I walked in the street to walk around the garbage. Because those who know, if you walk through the pathway, Master Splinter and a few of his cousins gonna run through your feet, gonna run past your feet, dog. And I got tired of running through that thing like OJ Simpson hitting him with the high step. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen a rat since I lived in Florida. And I think it's because we got a whole lot of snakes in Florida and a whole lot of other stuff. So rats be like, yeah, Florida, nah, I'm good, baby. They can have that, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even see rats here. Mice, none of that. So, in LA, traffic sucks. That's a fact. LA, y'all give a new meaning to traffic. Y'all give a new meaning to traffic. Not California as a whole, but Los Angeles gives a whole new meaning to traffic, bro. A whole new meaning to traffic. Notification system. The live is official. The host verified. I'm not a member of the community. I'm not a member of the community, but it is a safe place because we're human beings. Yeah, I never said I was a member. Yeah, I never said that. That's a mischaracterization. I like women and women only. And there's no debate. And I like my women from the tap, if you know what I mean. I like them from the tap. But shout out to y'all. Rats and I. It's too many rats in New York City for me. So again, I live in Florida. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. I'm gonna give y'all 3 fire movies to tap into. 200th episode, I'll be giving y'all movies each and every episode. So, you know what I'm saying? Tonight, I'm gonna give y'all some more fire. Number 1 must-see movie came out 1990, directed by Craig R. Blakely. This movie stars Dolph Lundgren, Mathis Hughes, Brian Beeman, and Betsy Brantley. This movie is called Dark Angel. This movie is the epitome of early 90s cinema. It's creative. It's about a top cop trying to get the streets all together. His partner dies, and you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't spoil it for you. Make sure you tap into see Dark Angel. Second must-see movie came out also in 1990. Damn, 1990 was popping. Directed by Frank Marshall. Movie stars Jeff Daniels, John Goldman, Julian Sands, Harley Jane Kozak, and Hewitt Pinkin. This movie is called An Arachnophobia. Fire movie. It's a classic. This movie is about a family that ends up moving to the rural areas. They ended up with a spider in their barn, and you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for you. So again, make sure you tap in to see An Arachnophobia. Third and final must-see movie came out 2003. This movie stars and is directed by Vincent Gallo. This movie also stars Savina, Elizabeth Blake, Anna Vershey, and Mary Marisky. This movie is called The Brown Bunny. Disclaimer: make sure if you watch The Brown Bunny, no children is supposed to be around. They have explicit scenes in this movie, especially at the end. This is a rated R movie, and this is one of the movies that actually shows adult activities. This is a movie that shows adult activities, not dissimulation, adult activities. This movie is about a young race car driver, and he's traveling through the countryside, trying to get to California. He meet different women along the way of his journey, and you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for you, spoil it for you. So make sure again you tap in to see the Brown Bunny, and again make sure no children is around. Second must-see movie again is Arachnophobia. Third was Dark Angel. So again, tap into those movies. Come back, let me know what y'all thought about them, and we can even chop it up. Shout out to Vic. As long as there's no backdoor business. There's no backdoor business in this. There's no backdoor business in this. But I will say this: the adult, they things that they're doing is between man and woman, but it's very explicit. It's very explicit. This is a real rated R movie. And let me say this. I had to learn what rated R was again after seeing this and this other movie called Caligula. Rated R movies is movies that's going to have sex and violence in the movie, right? But the rated R that we're so used to is kind of like, it's kind of basic. It don't go too far, right? This, and I was like, why is not rated X or rated rated something else? Is because the intent in the movie is not supposed to be sexual. It's just have sex in it. So that's why it's rated R. So make sure y'all tap into it. It's an interesting movie to watch. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we get to that, I'm gonna give y'all some must hear. Y'all already know I profile an artist every episode. I'm gonna give y'all 3 songs to download immediately. It's fire songs. So make sure y'all tap into. I spoke about it earlier. A low down, dirty shame music soundtrack. Fire songs on this all together. I should just tell y'all go listen to the whole soundtrack. But these 3 songs, put these 3 songs on your playlist if you haven't already. Again, from the Low Down Dirty Shame soundtrack, song number 1, I Can Go Deep by Silk. Number 2, Down for Whatever by Nothing Nice. And number 3, The Thing I Like featuring Aaliyah. Fire songs, I'm telling you. Y'all gonna thank me later. Y'all already know how I do with the music, whether it's new or old, or this hip hop and R&B. I'm gonna give y'all some fire. So make sure y'all go put those 3 songs on y'all playlist. Again, the songs again is I Can Go Deep by Silk. Number 2, Down for Whatever by Nothing Nice. And number 3, The Thing I Like by Aaliyah. Yes, Aaliyah, y'all. Fire songs. So make sure y'all go tune and tap in to that. All right, moving on to must read. I'm going to give y'all a fire book to go read. It's called Profiles in Mental Health and Courage. Great book for your mental health. We all need to learn language and just have a foundation in mental health, so that way when we do go through tough times, we have something to lean on to get us through. In my community, we only lean on God, which is nothing higher than God, right? But also there's other principles and tools that we can read and practice, that we just don't put all our everything in God, which we do ultimately at the end of the day. But these are other things that can help you keep a calm spirit when you're going through tough things. All right, y'all, moving on. Y'all already know what time it is. Send them to Turkey or not. Send them to Turkey or not. For those who don't know, we send people to Turkey based on what they say and what they do. And most times they be on some foolishness. So it became an inside joke on the show that we send people to Turkey because Turkey got some of the craziest laws in the world. So the first one of the night, Robert Morris, the Texas mega church pastor, plead guilty to essay charges to an underage girl. He gets a 10-year sentence, but he will only serve 6 months in county jail, also register as an essay defender, and has to pay $250,000 in restitution. Are we going to send his judgment to Turkey? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Type in T to send it to Turkey. Type in N not to send it to Turkey. Type in T to send it to Turkey. Type in N not to send it to Turkey. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, Robert Morris, he runs probably one of the most successful mega churches in all of Texas. I don't know if y'all, if y'all even familiar with Texas, anybody in the chat, but Texas in itself, you won't know until you're there. People used to tell me all the time, like, yo, Texas has its own money. Texas has its own money. And I didn't know until I got there. I did, I did I did a tour in Texas about a year and a half ago. And that was my first time in Texas. And I'm seeing all the different cities in Texas: Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston. What else I was at? Dallas, Houston, and I believe, I can't think of the next city. But anyway, point that I'm making is that Texas is huge. And we drove past a place. I'm like, damn, that's a big private college. And they're like, that's not a private college. That's Joel Osteen's church. I was like, that's a church? That looked like a college. So Robert Morrison himself, he also has a mega church done very amazing. But this particular young lady, this is a situation that he did when he was 21 and the young girl was, well, the lady was 8 at the time. And she let this be known back then. She let this be known back then. But back in the 80s, these laws and the way crimes against women was not really taken serious for real. It just wasn't. It was just the culture back at those times. And she told her family, and they tried doing the best that they could do, but nothing happened. So in 2025, they finally got some justice, and he only gets 10 years. So me personally, I'm sending this judgment to Turkey. Absolutely. This happened to this young lady from the age of like 8 up until like her early teenage years. And she told people, she like, yo, this dude is on some BS. And he becomes successful. And people go to him for answers and sanctity and just, the people that run church in most communities or run churches in most communities, these are designated safe places for most people in their mindset. So imagine the person that you're going to for some sort of refuge, some solace, some peace, foundational practices that help you gain some peace is the one essaying you. So I'm sending this all the way to Turkey. The fact that he only gets 10 years and then he's only going to serve 6 months. How do you get a 10-year sentence and then only have to serve 6 months? That is wild. He didn't get time served. That he wasn't in jail. Like, he's been free. And he did this so much long ago. And what goes to show that he hasn't done it to anybody else, any other women, any other kids, boys, or whatever the case may be. Like, that is crazy. So to only get 10 years and to only do 6 months in jail and then paying $250,000 in restitution is nothing for a man like that. He's probably making $250,000 per service. He runs a mega church in Texas. He probably makes $250,000 bare minimal in a month. If we're going to keep it a buck, he probably make that in a month. So to pay that $250,000 in restitution is laughable. He basically got off scot-free. And I tell people this because I went through this as a young teenager. When I was younger, I got into trouble and I had to get a lawyer and everything. And I'm telling my lawyer, like, yo, what I'm telling you is the truth. This is what really happened. My lawyer genuinely looked into my face and says, it's not what happened. It's not what the truth is. It's what we can prove. So based on the proven testimony is why that he ended up getting this. And of course, his influence, reputation, the juice, the money, back end money also has something to do with this as well. because this is a lot of trauma that he caused this young lady, and he only gets that. So like, I'm sending this man all the way to Turkey. I'm loving the answers in the chat. He gets 6 months, 8 years, but throw away key over 20 racks. Let me be the first to hit that button. Shout out to Lord in the building. It's what they can prove. In fact, right, facts. Like, at the end of the day, this lady is now 55 years old. This happened to her when she was 8. She let people know back then. This is not something where he became successful and now she came out of the woodwork. She let people know back then. They did the procedures back then. And we in 2025? Come on now. That's crazy. And to live with that type of trauma all these years, I don't care what nobody say. Man or woman being violated, that carries trauma, yo. That carries trauma. And that affects people. That can make people overly sexual. That can make people overly violent. Like, that's trauma. That's real trauma, because that type of thing is about feeling, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like not being able to defend yourself because you don't know what the hell is going on. So now when you become of age and knowing what's what, and you see that, all you're going to see is red. That's crazy. Just tuning in. What are we talking about? Shout out to Joni in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. You already know it's the 200th episode. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, and also type in 200 in the chat. That helps with the growth of the show. Thank you. Circumstantial evidence is enough most cases. Yeah, so we send in, again, the pastor, Robert Morris, and the judgment of his case all the way to Turkey, because this wasn't justice. Again, for him to do this back in the 80s and for him to only receive a 10-year sentence and only have to do 6 months. Only have to do 6 months. $250,000 restitution and register as an essay defender. That's not enough, man. So again, we sending that to Turkey. All right, next, send them to Turkey or not. Send them to Turkey or not. Remember, type in T to send them to Turkey. Type in not to. Studies are found. You need to make $180,000 to live in New York City comfortably. Are we sending those studies to Turkey or not? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Are we sending this to Turkey or not? Again, you need to make $180,000 to live in New York City comfortably. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. What happened to your? Oh, so if you can comment. He's not here no more, my brother. He's not here, man. He's at where he's at, but he's not here. It's nothing but love, but he's at where he's at. He's not here no more. But shout out to him, though. He did a lot of episodes with me, but shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. But yeah, so are we sending this to Turkey or not? Again, studies have shown you need to make $180,000 to live in New York City comfortably. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Are we sending that to Turkey or not? I'm seeing Turkey. $180,000 in New York City is very comfortable. It's very comfortable. If you're making that per year in New York City, that's very comfortable. The type of lifestyle you have in New York City, making $180,000, you're going to have a nice home. You don't necessarily need a vehicle in New York City, but you can have a vehicle, a nice one at that too. You know what I mean? Like a Benz or something like that. You're doing stuff like going to the basketball games, sitting front row. You're doing top-end shopping. So $180,000 is supremely comfortable. You're probably helping to take care of other households as well, because again, that's the type of money that changes the household, whether it's yours or others. So that's super duper comfortable in New York City. So I can't send that to Turkey because that's a lot of money. Can you live in New York City and not make 180,000? Of course, of course. My parents did it for years. For years, they didn't make 180,000 combined until I got good and out the house. Until I got went to college. You know, so I don't. You know, that's a lot of money, man. And in New York City, it doesn't feel like a lot of money, only because it's not the rent, it's everything else. Because rent is actually manageable in New York City. And what I mean by that is this: even though it's high, you could find a place in your price range and you can live with that. It's just all the other stuff in New York City: food, gas. Then if you have a vehicle, your car is going to get towed from time to time, because we have the opposite sides in New York City where you have to wake up by 8 o'clock and move your car by a certain time. And you know, it's all stuff like that. Parking, when we go out, you know, it's always some adages somewhere. So that's what New York City really gets you, is basically everything else. Like nothing is free. Nothing is free. Air is barely free in New York City. So 180,000 per year in New York City comfortably. Oh yeah, you gonna be stunting big time with 180 grand in New York City. That's a fact. That is a fact. So I'm not gonna send that to Turkey, me personally. Shout out to Lord. I just want to be living in New York. I like Chicago better anyway. Okay, okay. Like I said, I'm born and raised from New York City. Lived there all my life until the last 10 years. But I don't live in New York City. I can't live in New York City anymore. It's too crazy for me. And it's not even about the prices, because, again, I grew up there. Once you grow up there, the money portion is not an issue. When you're born and raised there, right? It's just the lifestyle in itself of New York City, the quality of life in New York City for me. But you can live there comfortably with 180,000 a year. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I would say this: if you made 125 a year in New York City and you got you a nice place that doesn't require you to pay 45, 3,500 a month, you got something that was like 25, you know, instead of, you know, you could get you a nice car if you choose to. You don't have to buy all the high-end clothes all the time. If you put yourself on a budget, 125,000 is very comfortable, and not spending frivolously as well. Can you make it with 50? Yeah, you can definitely make it in New York City, make it 50,000. Absolutely. Absolutely. People been doing that with less in New York City. You're going to be working all the time, but you can do it. You can do it. Everybody work all the time in New York City, even if they make a whole lot of money or not. Living in New York City, you don't feel like your money is the money that you make is ever enough, regardless. California is about the same as New York City. That's a fact when it comes to the prices. That's a fact. Some of them, LA is probably higher on rent than New York City. I will say that. Boots, damn. Really, you have to move your car every morning. I couldn't live like that. Yeah, and then the roads is narrow too. And then even on narrow roads, people double park. So you gotta bust that thing, you know what I'm saying? You gotta show your skills on how to finesse getting in and out them curves and stuff like that. Too crowded. I raised 2 kids with 75 a salary. Jag Waiters, appreciate you tapping in, my brother. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Type in 200 in the chat. It's our 200th episode. Yeah, like I said, man, even 75,000 a year in New York City you're gonna be fine. You're not poor. You're not poor. You're just not gonna be considered rich. You don't got money to throw away, and that's the difference that people don't take into account. Is this: you're not gonna be considered rich. You're gonna be able to go out. You're gonna be able to enjoy all the festivities. You're gonna pay your rent with no problems. Pay your car note, your insurance, all that with no problems. Your kids be taken care of with no problems. With 75,000 a year, just won't be considered rich. You just won't have the money to throw away. And guess what? 96% of the world don't have money that they could throw away. Some people do, but 96% of the world don't have that type of money. It was like, yeah, you know what? I could just blow 30 grand. So it's cool. Yeah, man, it's cool. Everybody don't need all the money. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to be cool. You know, like I heard a story one day from the rapper Mace. He said by the age of 19, he had $10 million, and I was like, whoa. I'm like, yo, I can't imagine what I'll do with $10 million at 19. Oh, I would have spent it all. I would have spent it all. I know my mom, rest in peace. I don't know if y'all can see her and my dad in my background, but they in the background. I know my mom and my dad would have been like, yo, man, you gotta put something away. And what? Chill, baby. We balling, baby. I would have went crazy at 19, 10 mil. I would have went crazy. So yeah, you don't need all the money on. So that's cool. That's cool. They squeeze every cent out of us. That's a fact. That is a fact. So that's why New York City is really so expensive, because like it, like you could get by buying off-brand stuff, but people don't like buying off-brand stuff. Like I used to get on my mom all the time. Like, mom, you could save a whole lot more money if you buy off-brand like stuff at the store. Nah, I need the name brand. I need the Welch's grapes. I don't want the store brand and stuff like that. You know, so you could find multitudes of ways to save money in New York City and still be good. So, all right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to us by this segment is brought to us by Button Snaps. Again, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign in the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign in the word snaps.com. I had Payless shoes in the 7th grade. We all had a shoe, you know what I'm saying? We all had something from Payless. If you grew up in New York City and you ain't never had no Payless shoes, you lying. You had something, especially if you were 80s baby. If you was born in the 80s, you had some skippies to go play, because most parents back in the day didn't want you to play in your good sneakers. You know what I'm saying? You had your play sneakers and you had your good sneakers. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that. You know what I'm saying? That's real. That's real spill. All right, y'all. First hot topic of the night. Mayor Eric Adams is now under fire for appointing a woman whom that it has been said that he was having a special relationship with outside of work, and her salary $160,000 a year. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. We were just talking about what it would take to live comfortably in New York City, and he gave this young lady a job, and it was said that they had a special relationship outside, and he appointed this woman because of that. Let me know what y'all think about that. Oh, excuse me, in the chat. And it's so crazy. We just talked about having the type of money and what it would take to live comfortably in New York City. And, we said that amount previously, and she made $160,000. So she's living comfortably. She has a job that she held that she could use on her resume to go get another job that could pay her that same type of money or in that realm. But based on the reports, it's due because they had a special relationship. She had a special relationship with Mayor Eric Adams, allegedly. So, me personally, I just think that's kind of like, it's the same old, same old. Like, we've heard, this is not the first politician that we've heard of that may or may have not had a special employee that provided special needs because they had special skills. and paid her a salary that's not only competitive, but that's what would be considered basically a high class salary. Um, backdoor activity. Well, this can't be backdoor activities because this is man and woman, right? So, if you're into that type of thing, but not you personally. I'm just saying, man, Adams. But but yeah, I mean, just the fact that she was able to pull that off, that he was able to pull that off. This is not the first time we've heard it. If this is true, we've heard this all through history. I mean, we've even heard this through uh, former President uh, Bill Clinton with Monica Lewinsky. And I remember him coming out emphatically saying, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And come to find out, they found skeet on the dress and all these different things that proved that he was having a special relationship with Monica Lewinsky at that time. She even wrote a book about it. They even did a whole movie series about that particular situation. I believe that was on FX, FX series. But this is not the first time we've heard of something like this. Is this the worst thing ever to happen? No. But what will be really interesting if we've heard here more women who are in politics that have special men that they, that work for them, that come around and do what need to be done. So I think this happens in politics. And they put people on the payroll that have no business being on the payroll, and they provide certain things that's needed. When you're making decisions to change the world, to change your community, you have to be able to bust a nut. I'm just saying that's a requirement of the job. Now, how they go about it is not, cool, but you got real decisions to make out here. You need to do that with a clear mind. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Sean Diddy Combs, P. Diddy Combs, has been sentenced to 50 months in prison. Also, he has to pay a $500,000 fine, but he also gets 12 months served. So that leaves him with a total of 38 months, but he only has to do either 29 to 30 months to meet the requirement. So after 30 months, you can and would probably will see P. Diddy be set free. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat, that he was sentenced to that. Me personally, what I saw on tape with Cassie was, it's not even explainable as an individual, as a man, as a human being. But I also don't see Cassie as a total victim, because there's other things that people have said about her that she was a part of with Diddy, whether that's alleged or not. That's still in the air, and this is coming from people that was her best friends, that was always around her. But that doesn't negate the fact what he did to her on tape. But what he did to her on tape was not the reason why he was on trial. It was brought up as a factor of his behavior, but that had nothing to do with prostitution and I forget the exact term, where now if you fly somebody out, that's considered transportation, because you're flying this person out with the intent of sex. And it's like, ain't we all adults? Like, if you in a long-term relationship and you want to see somebody, don't you want to call them like, hey, come out here, I'll fly you out? So now you could get charged for something like that now. So I've never heard of that, but that's a part of transportation and prostitution and things of that nature. He served quite a bit of time in prison already. He served 12 months. I believe that if he would have paid $1 million for the fine, why not let him go free? I mean, we just heard a pastor that essayed a young girl back in the 80s. She let these people know back then that man gets 10 years, but only is doing 6 months in jail. Only. That's it. So how do P. Diddy have to do 30 months in jail, has to pay more in the restitution or the fine, and did something less egregious? I mean, he did whatever he was doing, he did this with consenting adults or adults. This man did this to children, a kid, that's somebody that can't even defend themselves. Regardless of his age, he wasn't, he was still a grown man. He was still 21, 22 years old when these things was happening. He still knew better. And he only gets 6 months. So I think the scope of the case, the high profile nature of the case is a factor, because even though this pastor is super successful, most people haven't heard it until tonight. But P. Diddy, it's worldwide, baby. So I think it was very extensive. I think $1 million fine or $1 million in restitution, $1 million in restitution with time served, I think should have been his actual punishment, in my opinion. Like I said, the fact that he has to serve the 30 months is kind of laughable, especially after I just explained that this pastor over here only has to do 6 months on a 10-year prison sentence, and for something far much worse. Shout out to Vic. He'll do it in a private prison apartment. But it's still prison. Like, it's still jail. That's not somewhere you can ever get used to being. The jail, prison, the county, they have some of the best concoction of worst smells you have ever encountered. Like, they give a new meaning to funky, to stink, to God. There ain't nothing worse than goddamn when it comes to smells. God, they give a new meaning to that. Any jail, any prison, any county facility, funky, rats running all over the place. I don't believe in the term club fed, but they say that is a thing, but I don't believe it. We see that in the movies. Shout out to Paul. We got Paul in the building, one of our day ones. Appreciate that. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. Yes, the 200th episode. Big things. I love it. I love it. And like I said, I will do a little performance for y'all. Y'all been asking for a little something. Drop some of these bars on y'all. Y'all been asking. We'll drop a couple bars, in the show. So I'm gonna give y'all a little sham. But I appreciate y'all tapping in. They get to leave for 6 a.m. to 6, like rotten eggs. It smells worse than rotten eggs, bro. It gives a new meaning to funk. And the worst part about it is that you get used to it if you're there long enough. You get used to it. And that's not place I could ever get used to. Again, with the Diddy sentencing, I thought he should have got released with time served and having to pay $1 million in restitution, opposed to having to pay $500,000 in restitution and have to be required to do another 38 months in jail. But for real, even though the sentencing is 50 months in jail, he gets the 12 months time served, so that's 38, but he's only required for real to do 30 out that 38. So I don't think he should have got that. I don't think he should have got that. So that's what happened with P. Diddy in its conclusion. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. And again, y'all don't forget to hit them likes and hit the 100s in the chat. It is our 200th episode. I'm not going to finish that, Ishmael. I hear that every show, bro. That's my cousin. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Vic. Hope he learned not to be so enthusiastic in his relationships. I mean, I'm not defending P. Diddy's behavior. I mean, at the end of the day, we all got our thing, right? Like, when the case was first happening, people was more intrigued with his sexual behavior opposed to the actual crimes that was being presented, right? And all we heard, obviously, like for a long time, was the behavior. We didn't hear the crime. We heard the fact that he liked to sit in the back and rub it out, pause, while his girl is getting dogged by another guy. He's a cuckold. Like, that's what he's into. I ain't into that, but he's his own person, right? So we kept talking about his own behaviors opposed to the crimes, and then when we hear about the crimes, it'd be like, oh, those are crimes. I mean, like, let's be real. Like, people pay people for sex all the time. People fly people out all the time. So, like, okay. So I mean, like I said, again, what I seen on tape with Cassie is not the same as what he was on trial for. So I don't I believe what I believe regarding that. It was the Winslow story that got me. I remember that story. I remember that story where they said, the father from Family Matters, that Diddy, used to have a special relationship, a lot of backdoor activities with him. Like, some of the stories got real ridiculous, and it could be true, and it could just be ridiculous. And that's the one thing I hate about rumors, because when you don't address it in this era and time, if you do address a rumor, some people were like, oh, he's just saying it so he don't look bad. Or he's saying it just to set the record straight. So no matter what you say, when you address a rumor, there's just going to be people that believe it, regardless of what you say, whether it's true or not, because the truth of the matter is none of us was there, right? Like the same thing they said about Chingy like years ago, the rapper Chingy. I don't know if y'all even remember Chingy like that, but he was a dope rapper. He was signed under to Ludacris at the time, and he was popping. And there was a trans girl that came out and said, yeah, her and Chingy had a relationship. Chingy came out and said, yo, I don't even know this girl. We took a picture together. She was at my show, but I don't even know her. I don't swing that way. And for years, Chingy career, it was over after that. Because at that time in hip hop was very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it just wasn't open to the whole backdoor activities or the same sex activities, right? It wasn't open to that back then. So the thought that could have happened, that killed his career. Years later, this same person was on Love and Hip Hop, and they asked them about it, and they was like, yeah, nah, that never happened. I lied about it so I could be popping. Like, I just needed attention. I wanted attention. He was super famous at the time, and I lied about it to be popping. So it's like, yo, you destroyed this man's career. And like I said, hip hop at that time was super, that's the word I'm looking for, super homophobic. It was super homophobic. And they was like, yeah, nah. So, yeah, so again, regardless if you address it, right, it's just going to be ridiculous. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Uh, Late former LSU wide receiver, Karan Lacey, uh, did not cause the fatal accident to the trooper. Did not cause fatal accident. I'm sorry. Late and former LSU player, wide receiver, Karan Lacey, did not cause the fatal accident that they said that he caused. I remember I covered a story months ago. This was back probably in December. No, this was back in February, if I'm not mistaken, where a young man, Mr. Lacey, rest in peace to him, he had lost his life. It was said that he took his life due to the nervousness of having to stand trial and to be found guilty on a murder that he did not commit. He maintained his innocence, but of course, from what the public gathered based on the information that was received to the courts by the police officers, by the eyewitness, they said that he was the cause of this crime. His attorney, I believe Matt Ogie, has set the record straight by obtaining the actual body cam of that police officer, and I believe his name is to be Tyler Warren. I'm not sure. They said they haven't released the official name, but there's other reports that this is his name. If it's not Tyler Warren, then again, this is basically on the research that I've seen. They said they didn't officially release the name, but again, the latest news that I've seen, it did release his name, and his name is Tyler Warren. Officer Tyler Warren was the person seen on body cam at the scene coercing the eyewitness to saying that Kyrene Lacy was the cause of this person losing their life in car accident. And again, Lacy took his life based on these allegations and lies, and him ultimately being found guilty of this crime. And I said months ago, 2 lives was lost that didn't have to be lost. Accidents happen, car accidents happen, and as rotten as it is, we do have them, and people do lose their life. But this young man took his life based on the notion of being found guilty for a crime that he did not commit, which is super tragic. And I had to highlight the fact that this man was a father, a man, a father, somebody's son. He was a granddad. He was all these things, a community activist. Somebody in the community. But Kyrene Lacy was also a young man that comes from a good family, played football, and stayed out of trouble. And he took his life under the notion of having to pay for a crime that he did not commit. I wish he was still here to see justice being served, for him to be set free, and for him to sue the hell out of whoever he needed to sue the hell out of for this thing to be rectified. But Lacy, again, was involved in a fatal crash, December 2024. He was charged with negligence, homicide, and felony hit and run. Then Lacy unalived himself in April of 2025. So we're talking about about 5 months. So it wasn't February. It had to be that April. Then it had to be that April. It wasn't February. So we're talking about a midst of 5 months of sheer agony, and to live in that shame, to feel like he did something wrong, knowing that he really didn't do this. And you see the actual footage released by the lawyer that showed that Lacy not only did not cause the crime, but he wasn't necessarily even there. And what I mean by that, the crash happened, and where he was located, he pulled up and drove past it probably 30 seconds later. And this is all on footage. So again, my condolences to this young man. And I hope his family seek the justice. They was able to clear his name, which is most important. Now they should be collecting damages. And then after they collect the damages, not only that should that officer lose his job, but he should also be responsible for paying restitution. He should also do jail time, because he actively did the things that he did in coercing the person that was the eyewitness. And the eyewitness should hold some accountability as well. Because I will say this, being a police officer is a difficult job. That's not an easy job to do. That's one of the hardest jobs that you could do and give to the world. But you have to be right out here. You have to move right. And to move with all these underlining agendas, you're affecting people's lives, obviously. So again, I hope that their family take that route in collecting damages from trying to destroy his reputation and the wrongful death nature of this crime. So, moving on to our next hot topic. Florida courts says cops cannot search your car just because it smells weed. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Joe. Appreciate you tapping in, Joe Friday. Oh, I see you trying to crack jokes. I wish you had a real picture because I like to crack jokes too. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the little joke. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. That was cute. You know what I'm saying? That was cute. You know what I mean? That was cute. Appreciate the good joke. You know what I mean? But again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Florida court says cops can't search your vehicle no longer just because they smell weed. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. Shout out to Ebony. It's sad. I'm glad they got the story right. That's a fact. That's a fact. Me too. Me too. Talking about Lacey. Yeah, me too. Man, I love this for Florida. I don't smoke. Never been a smoker, but it's a slippery slope when you start letting cops have carte blanche. And mind you, being a police officer is one of the hardest jobs that you can have. It's not an easy job to do. But there's a difference between somebody being negligent and being impaired than actually feeling like you smell the scent of weed. It's Florida. People smoke in Florida. Smoke a whole lot in Florida. And then the reason why that's like a thing, a factor, because in New York City, if you go to most clubs, you can't smoke in the club in New York City. Most clubs, they won't allow you to smoke. In Florida, you can smoke all you want, dog. So now the fact that if a cop pull up on you and they smell weed in a car, they can't search it because they smell weed. They can search it for other reasons, but they can't search it because they smell weed. So, like I said, it's a give and take with Florida, and it's also can be a slippery slope if they allowed for that to happen. So, I'm not mad at that at all. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. And again, don't forget that them likes, hit them 100s, hit them 200s. It's the 200th episode of the pod. And if this is your first time tapping in, I am Ashley Lovechild. And again, thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Next hot topic. There's memory reborn after researchers have found lab-grown immune cells to restore and reverse brain aging and memory loss. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. So basically, there's millions of people that suffers from Alzheimer's disease, and this could be the final solution in curing that, which is amazing. If you ever seen, I believe it's the first of the remake of Planet of the Apes, where they had the storyline where the dad was basically going through Alzheimer's, and the son that was working with the monkeys or the chimps, that he was basically testing them on the cures for Alzheimer's, and they was able to do this in real life in real time. This will save millions. I lost one of my grandmothers due to Alzheimer's disease, and you're gonna have more people affected by Alzheimer's disease moving forward if this wasn't a reality. And that's mainly because, by and large, in our society, the things that we eat, the things that we consume, and how often we consume it, where do you think these diseases happen? It's what we put into our bodies. Exercising matters too, but what we put in our bodies, what we eat, what our diet is, it matters. I read a couple months back that fasting is one of the most effective ways to properly have a proper digestion of food of your body. If you regularly practice fasting, you allow the food to actually digest and leave your body in full in 2-3 days. Some people say, damn, I can't eat every 2 or 3 days. You actually can. You actually can. Those hunger pains that you think that you feel are not really hunger pains. That's just a chemical in your body that wants to feed that same system. But after a while, your digestive tract gets too much, too heavy, and that's where these diseases are developed. So the fact that they developed this cure or this particular research that could provide the cure and restore and reverse brain aging and memory loss, this is a W. This is a complete W in my estimation. Shout out to Paul. Great news. I hope it works without other side effects. I love that. Absolutely. Shout out to Carl in the building. What up? Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It's our 200th episode. Make sure you type in 200, Carl, because it is our 200th episode in the chat, man. But yes, I hope it works too, and I hope it doesn't develop any other side effects as well. And this is a game changer not only for people who are older than us, but for us. For us, guess what? If you're 20, in the blink of an eye, you're going to be 40. If you're 40, in a blink of an eye, you're going to be 60. And we hear people every day, whether they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, die from these type of food-related diseases because it's all stemmed from the food. I had a couple of friends that passed away while I was in college due to proper eating habits. I had another friend that died because he had really bad migraines, so much to the point that he lost his life, and he passed away at the age of 23. That broke my heart when I was in college. He was one of my teammates. So at the end of the day, these diseases is not relegated just to people who are older. It's all due to the diet and what we put into our bodies. So be very careful, y'all. Be very careful. Shout out to Carl. I feel like we went to school together. You just never know, man. You just never know, man. You feel me? Just never know, man. But shout out to you, Carl, man. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, hit the 200. Hit that 200 in the chat. I went to Fort Hamilton. I went to Fort Hamilton High School in Brooklyn. I went to all the ghetto schools in junior high. Yeah. I did go to private school one time. Yeah. Shout out to Opa in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Donald Trump advisors claims that ICE will be at attendance for the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, President Donald Trump advisors claim that they will be in attendance with ICE. Donald Trump advisors claims that ICE will be in attendance at the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show for the next Super Bowl game. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I mean, that sounds super kind of loaded because you have an artist like Bad Bunny, so you would expect that some of those tickets are going to be of people that want to see him perform. Well, maybe not. It's the Super Bowl. Like, people want to see football. Like, most people don't really care about the Super Bowl halftime performance like that. I mean, it's cool when you get a good Super Bowl performance. It's like the cherry on top if the game is good. but people never come to the Super Bowl for the performances in itself. Um, so I kind of think that's a bit overdoing it. You know what I'm saying? Like realistically, if you running from ICE, financially, do you have the money to go to the Super Bowl? Do Donald Trump advisors know how much the average Super Bowl ticket go for? Do they know that? If you running from ICE, you going to spend your money on going to the Super Bowl? You risking it? So y'all going to catch a whole lot of people there, huh? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That's why I said it's kind of loaded, because it makes no sense. If I got my last, I go to basketball games and football games regularly. These games are expensive. Basketball games are expensive. I'm gonna put it in ways that y'all better understand this, right? I live in Orlando, and I don't live far from the Orlando Magic's game, from the Orlando Magic Center. On the average night, a good ticket, good seats, it'll run you about 250, 260. Let Shea Gilgeous come to town. John Morant come to town. LeBron James come to town. Kevin Durant come to town. Kawhi Leonard come to town. The Nuggets come to town. Steph Curry come to town. That same ticket that was about $200 something dollars, oh yeah, that's up to 500 for the same seat. That's about to be to 500. The All-Star game is double than that. Super Bowl for the NFL that holds over 80,000 to 100 people. To get a seat in the nosebleed section is going to run you about $1,600 bare minimum. To sit in the nosebleeds, not to sit good at half field, no, in the nosebleeds. So people who are running from ICE is going to spend their last going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, nah, dismiss me with all that. I don't believe that. I do believe that they will show a presence there, but I don't think it's going to be effective. I don't think anybody that's in a financial struggle and have to dodge ICE being deported is even going to risk it. But okay. Shout out to Stacy. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It's our 200th episode, so make sure you put that 200 in the chat. Shout out to John in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. New York City extends free Wi-Fi and cable for from NYCHA. And NYCHA is known as basically a New York City housing, basically the authority. I don't say authority, but they basically like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the housing company to make sure that there's proper repairs, that the conditions are livable, and things of that nature. That's NYCHA in New York City. So New York City extends free Wi-Fi and cable for NYCHA residents. So if you live in any of these project buildings or housing, they like to make it fancy and say housing. It's the damn projects. All through New York City, if you live there, you will get free Wi-Fi and free cable. And when they say cable, they don't mean like, cable vision and stuff. They mean like the local cable channels is what they saying. And this will directly affect over 330,000 residents. With this extension, the city will also receive, and this is probably why they did it. They don't do something for nothing. With this extension, the city will receive 1.2 million in new funding from Optimal and Spectrum to support all digital efforts programs in their libraries. The average household will save $1,700 annually. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, again, being from New York City, being born and raised in Brooklyn, I know what them damn projects and them housings smell like, look like, feel like, and it's not an easy place to live. It's a place where most people go to fight for last place. It's a place where most people go to fight for last place. People that end up living in housing, end up living in the projects, nobody wants to be there. They have to be there because of their financial situation. But most people, when they make enough money to get up out of the projects, they do leave. Some people stay. If you real old school, you never leave in the projects. But if you born and raised and you make enough money, you getting up out of there. Anybody would get up out of there. And I'm not saying that like it's not good people in the projects. I'm not saying that at all. That's asinine to say something like that. But people that live in those conditions don't want to live in those conditions. They're there because they don't have another choice. That is their choice, to live there because of their financial situation. And the fact that they're throwing them a bone, this is something that they been should have did this. How many years have these projects been making billions off these people? Mind you, the rent is not that high, but look at the conditions. Look how the lack of upkeep in most of these New York City housing apartments. The upkeep is terrible, been terrible. How they treat their garbage, how they treat their land. It's been terrible. Making billions. So at the end of the day, if you got 330,000 residents, and let's say on average everybody's paying 600 in rent, billions, and been doing this from the 40s. So I mean, at the end of the day, to me, this is just a bone that they threw, and they should have did this. But I spoke about NYCHA last episode. What else do you got, dog? What else do you got? Because the reason why I spoke about them last episode, there was an apartment housing in the Bronx where the whole damn incinerator thing dropped off the damn top floor and killed the whole section of part of the building. Now, what if somebody was walking by and it would hit a group of people or that person? So the upkeep has been terrible. What else do you got, NYCHA? What else do you got? Because like I said last episode, they should give free upgrades to each and every single unit in these projects. Make these places bigger. Make these places much more a livable situation as far as the paint that they use, the upkeep, how they keep this stuff up. When you go to the average housing apartment, there's piss all over the floor, graffiti everywhere. It looks like a space of desperation and despair. So NYCHA, clean it up. If you clean it up and you have the people there upkeeping the upkeep, then people should have pride in where they live and where they rest their head. So, again, this is a bone that they threw. Shout out to Kenzo. Appreciate you tapping in. Support from Australia. Appreciate you tapping in. Got love for Australia. I don't think I will ever go to Australia though. I've seen videos. Y'all wildlife is on a whole nother level, bro. I've seen a spider from Australia. I've seen y'all like y'all rats look like guinea pigs, bro. Like it just look crazy. So if that's just some of y'all wildlife, I'm cool. But yo, shout out to Australia. I heard the women look good in Australia though. Shout out to Paul. Good for them. It's a small win for them. That's a fact. It is a small win. It's a very small win. Very small win. And that's the least that they can do. That's the least that they can do. Support from Australia. Be careful of the Australian humans and so-called domestic dogs. Okay. Shout out to nobody in the building. Uh, Welcome everyone. Please like, share, subscribe. Appreciate that, my dude. Appreciate that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. There was a legend that I'm going to debunk that has been around for decades now. It was a legend or alleged that years ago that Michael Jackson acquired so much money when he actually bought an acre on the moon. And knowing Michael Jackson in a sense from a distance and hearing all his big purchases and wild purchases, it's not outside of the realm that if anybody had access to buying a piece of the moon, it would be MJ. You know what I'm saying? That's MJ, right? If we found out if it was true that MJ owned a piece of the moon, we'd be like, all right, that's MJ. Nobody would doubt it. Nobody would be like, you don't own a piece of the moon, MJ, or you don't own an acre of the moon, MJ. Like, come on, really? At that time, you would have believed it. So to debunk that theory is not true. Under the Outer Space Treaty Act, it just can't happen. Nobody can own an acre of the moon. So, at the end of the day, this was something that people was arguing about that was supposedly a part of his, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when somebody passed away, oh man, like it was a part of, not the will, but it's a part of, I can't think of the word, y'all, but it's a part of like their stuff when they pass away and everything goes into that. Like that was supposedly a part of it, and it was debunked just based on the simple ruling that, again, a part of the Outer Space Treaty, you can't, you can't own an ounce of the moon, so let alone a damn acre. But for years, people said this because he owned somebody's bones. He owned all type of stuff. So it wouldn't be outside of the realm. And Michael Jackson had next level money. So shout out to Jay Wig Legacy. Honestly, I could believe it if it was true. He was tapped into a lot of things outside of music. Okay, shout out to Alex in the building. You're thinking of the word absorb. No, not the word absorb. Is when you have something, when somebody passes away. And matter of fact, I know the word, I just can't get it out. Estate, Paul. See, Paul be coming in the clutch 200th episode, man. The estate. They said it was in his estate. That he owned an acre of the moon, and no, it's not true. You can't own. But that's the word I could. It was I was thinking of it, but I couldn't say it. It was estate. Yes, estate. Yes. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Paul always getting me right, man. Shout out to Paul, man. Shout out to Paul. So yeah, so that is absolutely not true. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic: college football picks is in. Sunday episode. Again, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. We're on every Sunday and every Wednesday at 10:30. College football picks is in. College football picks is in. So the first game I called was number 22 Illinois versus Purdue. I said Illinois will win that game, and they did. They won 43-27. Great game. A rivalry game, but Illinois was just the better team. Second game I called, Wisconsin versus number 20 Michigan. I said my Michigan will win that game, and we did. 24-10. Great game, gritty. Big Ten football right there. Big Ten football. Like I said, Wisconsin played the best football of the season against Michigan, but we still, was able to edge them out. But they played really well. So they was, like I said, it was a good game. So Michigan won that game. Next game I called, number 16 Vanderbilt versus number 10 Alabama. People was calling for the upset from Vandy, but I said Alabama would win this game, and they did. They won 30-14. It was a very convincing win by Alabama. Vanderbilt is a very good team. They was undefeated before this game, and they probably go on to win at least 5 more games, in my opinion. But Alabama is a very good team, man. They stumbled the first game against Florida State, but they're making do. Next game I called number 9, Texas versus unranked Florida. I said Florida will win this game in an upset, and they did. They won 29-21. Like I said, Florida just had too many athletes. Texas has great athletes also, but at the quarterback position, Arch Manning is still developing. Florida, the University of Florida, has one of the most intimidating home fields that you could ever play against. And to play against them athletes in that environment hits different. So they won. Next game I called, number 11, Texas Tech versus Houston. I said Texas Tech will win. They won 35-11 in dominating fashion, even though Houston is a great team, or a good team this year. And the last game I called was number 3, Miami versus number 18, Florida State. I said Miami would win, and they did, 28-22. So I went 6-0 this week for my pick 6. Try to win you some money on. If you're working on parlays, if you're looking for a game, use my picks. You know what I'm saying? It's only there to help you out, baby, or don't use my picks. So either way is up to you. My pick 6 in NFL. I said that Vikings would beat the Browns. They did. They won. They beat them 21-17. I just thought the Vikings defense would give Dylan Gabriel a lot of problems because of the disguising nature. Dylan Gabriel had a solid game. He did score 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost 200, like $190, but he played very safe, which I don't mind. But it felt like he played more so not to lose instead of playing to win. But I just thought the Vikings would do better on their offense than their offense would do against the Vikings. Next game I called, Giants versus the Saints. I said the Giants would win this game, and I should have known better. They lost 26-14. I should have known better. I just thought that the game that they played a week prior to versus a better Chargers team, that they would beat a sad, terrible Saints team. And the Saints showed improved. They beat them on their home field. And Jackson Dart had another solid performance. But again, it's still not enough. If you're going to take the next step, Giants, you have to beat teams that's supposed to be beat. So this lets me know that the Giants are pretenders. They're not contenders. Next game I called was the Lions versus the Bengals. I said the Lions will win. They did, 37-24, dominating fashion. Again, they're missing Joe Burrow mightily, and they should make a change or trade at their quarterback position because it's making a difference on how they play. And their defense wasn't that good to begin with, so now you lose a superstar, a top 5 quarterback like Joe Burrow. It's just really going to take your team deep in the dumps. All right, y'all, moving to our next game that I called. And also, the Bengals might be on the verge of not going to the playoffs 2 years in a row. The next game I called, Bucks versus Seahawks. I said the Seahawks will win this game. They lost. Last-minute field goal, 38-35. Bucks came back and won this game. It was a really good game. That game could have went either way. I could have went either way with that game. I just thought the Seahawks would win based on having that home field advantage by being able to really put up points whenever they want to put up points. And they do have a solid defense. I just thought they was the better team this week, but they wasn't. Next game I called, Titans versus the Cardinals. I said Cardinals will win this game. They lost. Again, last-second field goal, 22-21. Titans played a tough game, but that lets me know the Cardinals is pretenders too. They're not that good. They're not going to be that good. To lose to a team that haven't won a game all year and to lose a game at the last second on the field goal is crazy. But shout out to the Titans. They fought and won that game. So shout out to the Titans. Um, but yeah, it's, neither one of these teams was going to the playoffs. I'll tell you that much. Next game I called was Broncos versus Eagles. I said the Broncos would win. They did 21-17. I just thought the Broncos defense is good enough to stop that Eagles offense, and they did. And their Broncos offense is very suitable, and I just don't think the Eagles is an unbeatable team. They're very beatable, very beatable. So like even my Chiefs, we had them on the ropes. Kelsey dropped the ball, intercepted, we lose the game. So they're a very beatable team in my estimation. And Broncos won. And the last game I called was Chiefs versus the Jaguars. They play tomorrow night, but I got the Chiefs winning that game. So my pick six for NFL is what, 3-3 this week. And the last game would be the Chiefs. So again, you try to win you some money on. And again, this is why the games is played. Because we see all the time when you have this great team go up against this not so great team. I don't know if the star player lost his girlfriend the night before last. He didn't get proper sleep or whatever the case may be. It just didn't add up and teams win. That's why the games is great. That's why the game is meant to be played. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Our Keep the Lie Alive segment. I'm going to skip the Keep the Lie Alive for this episode because I said I will be doing a performance for y'all during the episode. So I'll save the Keep the Lie Alive for next episode. So some of y'all been wanting to hear me rap a little bit, bust a verse or something like that. So I said I would for episode 200. So see what I can do. Don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s in the chat, hit them likes, hit the 100s. And if you haven't already, type in 200 for the 200th episode. It helps with the growth of the show. So for this episode, like I said, I will be doing a verse for y'all. I'm going to do a verse from this song called See You Later. Me and some of my good friends formed a crew of dope lyricists called Cocaine 45, one word, and we did this particular song. So I'm going to do a verse from this song. So, okay. They say women lie and men too, but numbers don't calling up my susu. I'm catching everything with my Nike grips. New snap back with the gold wrists. Pinky rings flooded with the new chips. Every day OUV, new hits. New love, new trips, new whips. I even got it tatted, don't make it dramatic. My flow hits you like fight night. If you don't duck, it's like night night. I keep a Jesus piece just so I can see your teeth. And when the smile frown, tell I'm gonna need the heat. I give a new meaning to cheek, I'm the last man standing. Even my shadow is confident. Fire and brimstone. I could give ice to a snow cone. You're unresponsive and left alone. You know what I'm saying? So I did say I would do a verse for y'all or a few verses for y'all, but let me know if y'all digging that. Hit them 100s in the chat. Hit me with the snaps or something, you know what I'm saying? Show that love. I appreciate it as always, y'all. Hope y'all like that rendition of the song See You Later. You can listen to it up on any music platform. Again, if you type in Cocaine 45, one word, it's the song See You Later and my verse on See You Later. So, hope y'all enjoyed and liked that. All right, y'all. Oh, man, it's been such a dope night. Episode 200. It's been amazing. I want to thank y'all for y'all support. To get to this point, like I said, a lot of podcasts cannot say they have 200 episodes. And this started off as an idea, and to see it into its full fruition, And honestly, the best is still yet to come. I want to thank all of you for tuning and tapping in. That hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that all notification bell. Some of y'all may even have became members. We have quite a few members. There's different advantages to being a member. You get different access to being a member. But again, I want to thank you. It does help with the growth of the show, and it means the world to me because I have such a passion for podcasting that I get a chance to do this 2 times a week, every Wednesday and every Sunday at 10:30. Uh, Again, y'all, if this is your first time tapping in, I am Ashley Lovechild, and I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Y'all been absolutely amazing. I want to do some free giveaways. Y'all been so dope all night. I'm going to do some random giveaways for the people that are calling the chat. For some random giveaways, email me. Email me name and address. You're going to get some merch sent to you. So again, by random names, I'm going to be calling. I'm going to call out 3 random people. Again, send in your emails at ouvrecords@gmail.com. Um, and like I said, let me know your name, your address, and obviously your @ name on YouTube, so that way it will be sent properly. So first person up, we have Vic. First person up, we have Vic. Vic, we're gonna hook you up with some merch. So again, hit us or hit me at ouvrecords@gmail. Attention, Ashley Lovechild, or Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. And again, name, address, and your size for a t-shirt or a hat. So make sure you send that in the email. What you think about. Shout out to Mo in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Next, random. Did I see Roman Jack? I thought I saw Roman Jack. Next person at random. Paul. Yes, Paul. Please send me your name, address to at ouvrecords@gmail. Make sure you send that, and of course, your @ name on YouTube. And last person that's going to get some merch. Like I said, I'm doing this all at random. Maria Rivera. Make sure you send that. You're the 3rd person that we call to get that merch. Like I said, and send your sizes. Let me know what your sizes is for t-shirt or hat. Let me know your size. So, and we'll get some merch out to you. Thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. And again, y'all, I got over 500 rewatchable videos of this pod on this channel. So it's a whole lot of videos, whole lot of shorts. So make sure y'all tune and tap into them because they are great conversational starters. And it gets real in those comments. I'll be seeing some of those comments. It get real. I don't reply to ignorance, but some of those comments, they get very passionate. And if it's ignorant or come across ignorant, I won't respond to it. But, having passion, I will leave it up there. But if you're being insulting, then come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? But having a difference of opinion is not insulting. It's whether if you're being insulted intentionally. So, but again, I want to thank y'all for y'all support. Also, next announcement that I said I've been saving. I've been working on my own comics. And I've been waiting to share it with you because it's in the midst of being licensed. So that way now when it's out, people can't, obviously take it and da 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 because you will get sued. But I'm working on a new comic, and it's basically Batman meets hip hop. And when you see it, it has a whole world, a whole storyline to it that I would love to divulge even further. But I can't wait for y'all to see this. Working on the comics, and the animation will be coming after the comics is released. So I can't wait for y'all to see this. This has been one of my creative babies, so to speak, that I've been working on. The comics, the animation, and the script in itself. It's been fun doing it, and I can't wait for it to be released. And it's being worked on as we speak. So I will give much more notice for the actual issue that would be available digitally and in print. So I'm looking forward to that. Shout out to uh, Robot in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Don't be talking about my cousin, bro. That's my cousin. Don't be talking about my cousin, bro. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you? Hit them likes, hit the 100s while you here, man. It's the 200th episode. Type in 200 in the chat. It's our 200th episode, man. But appreciate you tapping in. Try to hit me with that joke. You know what I'm saying? That's my cousin. What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't know for real that Marcus Houston is my cousin and Chad Ochocinco is my cousin. Those are my cousins. My real last name is not Lovechild. It's not my real last name. I think I gave it away what's my real last name is when I said Ochocinco. Immature is now mature. You know what I'm saying? You up there talking about my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Can't be talking about my cousin and them, you know? But again, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Y'all been absolutely amazing. Each and every episode, like I said, I'm here every Wednesday, every Sunday at 10:30. Thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. 200th episode, such a milestone, and I'm just so happy, man. So thank y'all for that, and we'll be back this Wednesday, man, and I can't wait to see y'all again. But I do pop up throughout the week, so hit them likes and hit that all notification bell. Love that rap. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Ebony. Appreciate that, Ebony. Y'all been saying y'all been wanting to hear me rap for the longest, so I gave y'all a little something. I hope y'all enjoyed. So, I feel like I'm missing one last thing. And new music. Got some new music. I've been in the studio working on some new music. You know what I'm saying? Working on that too. So I'm working on my new album as well. So be ready and on the lookout for that as well. This is a fire album so far. I got like 7 songs recorded. It's fire. So be on the lookout for that. All right, y'all. Y'all been amazing. Thank y'all for supporting. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. This is the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, again, on every Sunday, every Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Again, don't forget to tap in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that all notification bell, because I do pop up throughout the week. There's also memberships available. Different memberships do get granted different access. So again, thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Over 500 rewatch videos of this podcast. So watch those videos, all right? And if you want to support, if you want to support and want to do anything further, there's always it's always available in the chat as well. We also have merchandise in the chat as well. Links in the bio, 44.com. If you go to 44.com at Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, if you use the promo code Brothers Pod, again, Brothers Pod, how we spell brothers, Brothers Pod, you get 10% off on all merchandise. So if you go there, you will get that. And again, for all the names that I called for some merch, I called again Vic, I called Paul, and I called Maria. Call Vic, I call Paul, and I call Maria Rivera. Again, hit me on OUV Records Gmail, OUV Records at gmail.com. Send your name, your on uh on YouTube, your size, t-shirt or hats, and your address. And you'll get some merchandise coming your way. Again, I love you all. Stay positive. You already know it's love. And I'll see y'all soon. I'm out.